For a second, I want to show you something. Last spring, you filled this raised bed right up to the top board, packed it in, planted it out, and it looked perfect. But take a look at it now. The soil has dropped a couple of inches, the top edge of the frame is sticking up bare, and you are probably wondering where on earth all that soil you paid for actually went. Here is the part most folks get backwards. There are two completely different reasons your bed sinks, and one of them is genuinely a good sign. Stick with me, because by the end, you will know exactly which fixes are worth your time and money, and which ones just drain your wallet for nothing. So let's start simple, because once you see these two things clearly, everything else clicks into place. The first reason is just settling. When you fill a fresh bed, that soil is fluffy and loose and full of tiny air pockets. It is basically holding its breath. Then you water it, the rain comes, your plant roots push down through it, and you lean in to pull a weed, and all those little air pockets get squeezed out. The soil packs down tighter. The University of Maryland Extension describes this as the material simply getting denser, not disappearing. Every single grain of soil you put in there is still right there in the bed. It is just taking up less room. Researchers at the University of Florida Institute of Food and Agricultural Sciences found that a bed filled right to the brim can drop about 2 inches from that first round of settling alone. So if your brand new bed sank a little in the first couple of weeks, relax. Nothing is wrong. It just let its breath out. Think of it like packing a suitcase. When you first toss your clothes in, the lid will not close, but press down, push the air out, and suddenly everything fits with room to spare. You did not lose a single shirt. You just packed it tighter. That is settling, start to finish. But the second reason is a completely different animal, and this is the one that actually matters over the long haul. This is not your soil packing down. This is your soil literally leaving the bed as a gas. Here is what is going on. Your soil is absolutely full of life. Microbes, fungi, earthworms, all of them busy eating the organic matter you added. The compost, the peat, the aged manure, the fallen leaves. And as they eat, they breathe. The University of Arizona Cooperative Extension calls it soil respiration, your soil breathing. Those tiny creatures pull the carbon out of your compost and breathe most of it off into the air as carbon dioxide. So that material does not just settle down, it is gone. It floated up out of the bed year after year after year. So keep these two completely separate in your head because honestly, this is the whole video. Settling is your soil packing tighter and nothing is lost. Decomposition is your soil being eaten and breathed away, and that loss is permanent. Both of them pull your soil line down, but only one of them actually removes anything from the bed. Now let's go a layer deeper, because the decomposition side is where this gets genuinely fascinating. That breaking down process is the real long-term reason your bed keeps sinking. And soil scientists have actually measured it. In a healthy, settled soil, somewhere around 5% of the stable organic matter breaks down every single year. Some sources put that range anywhere from 1 to 5%. But that figure is for the old, settled stuff. The fresh young compost you just shoveled in, that goes a whole lot faster. The Piedmont Master Gardeners point out that as much as 90% of fresh organic material can disappear quickly, leaving behind only the tough, stable humus. So a brand new bed packed full of fresh compost is going to drop fast in that first year. That is not a defect. That is just young organic matter doing exactly what young organic matter does. Warmth also speeds the whole thing up. Decomposition really gets cooking in warm soil, peaking somewhere around the mid-80s to the low 100s degrees Fahrenheit. So if you garden somewhere hot, your beds are going to sink faster than your friends' beds up north. Same process, just shifted into a higher gear. Now, here is the piece that ties it all together. Look closely at what is actually in your soil. You have organic matter, the compost, leaves, and peat, and that stuff decomposes. But you also have the mineral fraction, the sand, the silt, the clay, the plain topsoil, and that mineral part does not decompose, ever. The Soil Lab at the University of Connecticut and the folks at Oregon State Extension both hammer this point home. Those minerals are the mineral skeleton that holds your soil level up. So the more compost-heavy your mix is, the more it is going to sink over time, because more of it is the kind of thing that vanishes into thin air. A few smaller things pile on too. Every time you water, you wash fine particles down into the gaps and force more air out. Every time you kneel or step right in the bed, your body weight packs it down hard, which is exactly why you want to keep your beds about 4 feet wide so you can always reach the middle without stepping in. And then winter shows up and freezes and thaws go to work. Water expands about 9% when it freezes, heaving the soil up and then dropping it back down as it melts. Penn State Master Gardeners and Iowa State Extension both talk about this one. Now, I have to be straight with you about one number because you will see it absolutely everywhere online. People love to say a raised bed sinks 1 to 3 inches a year, flat out, like it is a law of physics. That specific figure mostly comes from gardening sites like Epic Gardening, which are great practitioner sources but not university research, so take it as a rough rule of thumb, not gospel. The extension folks are a lot more careful with it. Penn State Master Gardeners just say expect about 1 inch or 2 over the winter and top it off in spring. And the extreme end? The University of Connecticut found that beds built mostly from loose organic matter can lose roughly half their height in a single year. So the honest answer to how much will mine sink is it depends almost entirely on your mix. The more compost, the more it drops. Okay, now I really want you to lean in because this next part completely changed how I think about my own beds. That sinking feeling you have been quietly worrying about? It is actually one of the best signs that your bed is alive and working hard for you. Think it through. The only reason your soil is decomposing at all is that it is absolutely packed with hungry microbes, fungi, and earthworms, and they are busy turning your compost into plant food. The University of Illinois Extension and the Piedmont Master Gardeners both frame it in the very same way. The exact process that lowers your soil line is the exact same process that feeds your tomatoes. You genuinely cannot have one without the other. A bed that never sinks at all is a bed where nothing is breaking down, and trust me, that is not what you want under your plants. And let me put some real numbers on what all that decomposition is quietly handing you. For every 1% of organic matter in your soil, the Noble Research Institute found it releases something like 20 to 30 pounds of nitrogen, 4.5 to nearly 7 pounds of phosphate, and 2 to 3 pounds of sulfur per acre every year. That is free fertilizer. That is your soil cooking up a full meal for your plants out of the very same material that has been disappearing. So the next time you see that soil line drop, do not picture money draining out of your bed. Picture lunch being served. So the goal was never to stop the sinking. You cannot, and frankly, you would not want to. The goal is just to slow it down and keep topping it up, and it is really very simple. Let me walk you through the whole toolkit. First, build a balanced mix from day one. You want roughly 1/4 to half organic matter by volume, the rest good mineral topsoil, plus around 10 to 20% of something coarse for aeration, like perlite or pumice. Iowa State Extension keeps it even simpler with a 70-30 blend of topsoil to compost. Whatever you do, please do not fill a whole bed with pure compost. It will sink the most and pack down the tightest, and you will be chasing that level forever. Second, top dress. Each spring, a few weeks before you plant, or in the fall, just lay an inch or two of compost across the top and rake it in lightly. Do not till your established beds to fluff them up. The University of Illinois Extension is really clear on this. Tilling wrecks the soil structure and actually speeds up the settling, so put that tiller back in the shed. Third, mulch. A couple of inches of straw or shredded leaves cushions the surface against pounding rain and footsteps, and Colorado State Extension says a good mulch layer can cut your watering roughly in half. I love that one. If this is helping things click for you, do me a quick favor and tap subscribe. I put out practical raised bed help just like this every single week. All right, 2 more tools and then the part that might save you some money. Fourth, plant a cover crop in the off-season, something like winter rye with crimson clover, or a simple peas and oats mix. Those living roots keep building structure all winter long while the bed rests. And fifth, if you want a one-time durability upgrade, work in a little biochar, around 5 to 10% of your blend, charged up with compost first so it does not steal nutrients. It adds permanent pore space, and it stays in the soil for an incredibly long time. Field studies estimate anywhere from over 100 years to more than 1,000 years, depending on how it was made. But now I want to tell you the thing that almost nobody mentions, and it might save you real money and a real headache down the road. More compost is not always better. I know that sounds backwards coming out of a gardener's mouth, but stay with me. When you reflexively dump compost on your beds every single year out of habit, you can actually build up phosphorus to levels that turn into a genuine pollution problem. And this is not a theory. Back in October of 2022, educators from the University of Minnesota Extension went out and tested 20 community gardens in Ramsey County. Every single one of them had too much phosphorus. All 20. So before you reach for another bag, do this one thing for me. Get a soil test. It is cheap, it is easy, and it tells you exactly what your bed actually needs instead of what you just assume it needs. If your phosphorus comes back very high, ease off the compost for a while and bring your level back up with plain mineral topsoil instead. The University of Minnesota actually recommends about an inch or less of compost a year for most beds. An inch or less. Here is the mindset I really want you to walk away with. Compost is a booster, not a base. It is a wonderful thing, but it will always disappear, so it can never be the thing holding your level up. The mineral fraction, your topsoil, and your sand, that is your real insurance against sinking. That is the part that actually stays put. Now, let me be totally honest with you about which of these fixes are worth your effort, because not all of them are. Topping off with an inch or two of compost a year is the best default by far. It is cheap, it is fast, and it just works. The only thing to watch is the phosphorus we talked about. Adding a mineral fraction, some good coarse sand, or extra topsoil is the single most durable fix you can make. The catch is that it is heavy to haul, it costs a bit more, and quality material can be a pain to source, but it lasts, and it does not vanish on you. Now, hugelkultur, that trendy approach where you fill the bottom of a deep bed with logs and branches. It is a cheap way to fill a big bed, and I honestly get the appeal. But I will give it to you straight. Those beds sink the most. They keep on sinking for years as all that wood slowly breaks down, and fresh wood actually ties up your nitrogen for a season or two. So if what you want is a stable, level bed soon, I do not recommend it. And tilling your bed every spring to fluff it back up? It feels productive. It really, really does. But you already know what I am about to say. It is counterproductive. You are tearing apart the exact structure you are trying so hard to build, and you are speeding up the very sinking you are trying to stop. Skip it. So let's come right back to where we started, that raised bed with the soil dropped down below the frame. You know now that two totally different things were going on in there. The settling, where your soil just packed down tighter and lost absolutely nothing. And the decomposition, where your living soil has been quietly turning compost into food for your plants, and yes, slowly shrinking as it does. One of those is just plain physics. The other is a sign that your bed is healthy, alive, and doing exactly what you want it to do. It is normal. It is actually good, and keeping up with it is really very simple. Build a balanced mix. Top it off an inch or two each year, mulch it, and test your soil before you ever overfeed it. That is the whole thing. Anyone can do this, and I mean anyone. If this helped it finally click for you, go ahead and subscribe, and I will see you in the next one, right back out here in the garden. Happy growing!